Man, I have some memories with this game. Not the game itself, but I mean the catalogs that had the game on it. My family didn't have a Wii during the time, and I was stuck with my Super Nintendo and Nintendo DS. Now, my Mario fix was filled because of those, but I really wanted the shiny new game in my possession. A Mario game in space, hell yeah, I was so fascinated with space and science fiction as a kid, so I was really intrigued. Though I did learn a lot of stuff because of my curiosity, including what would become my biggest nightmare as a kid, the dreaded black hole. A dead star that stretched and killed everything in its path. Fun fact, I was actually terrified by a lot of movies because something resembled a frickin' black hole, including Thomas and the Magic Railroad. No, I'm serious. And the look of the box art didn't really help. Seeing that small black spot was enough to say, yep, I'm keeping away from this shit. That is until 2014 when I got my brand spanking new Wii U. And while I'm not a fan of the console nowadays, this was my big gateway for a lot of games, and Galaxy was one of them. When I played it for the first time, I liked it until I failed the ball minigame and left it on the shelf. So I haven't played the game in 3 years, and I was a bit worried. But if my opinion on Sunshine can drastically change, I don't see how the opposite can't happen with this game. Starting out, the story is much simpler than Sunshine, but really I find that a positive as long as I don't have to deal with assholes for several hours. It's the Night of the Star Festival, a celebration of the comet that passes the Mushroom Kingdom every 100 years. They bring back the shooting stars and it forms a power star. Now the stars in 64 make sense. Kind of. And then Bowser attacks to take away the princess as well as the castle with UFOs with nipples. Don't lie, they're freaking nipples. But it is nice to see Bowser being super ambitious with taking over the universe instead of just the Mushroom Kingdom. And seeing Kamek actually be useful and blast Mario off of the castle is more interesting than... yeah, that. Mario's then woken up by a living star, the very same Peach was holding during the kidnapping. Curious. And then it turns into a bunny. If that's supposed to be a reference to moon rabbits, that's clever and all, but... huh? But after a game of tag, the stars take them to their guardian, Rosalina. Practically the god of the Mario universe, and she is just plain awesome. Cool, sweet, wise, and damn it, she's just cute. Screw Peach, this is my kind of girl. Or should I say, my one-up girl. She says she can take them to Peach and Bowser, but only when they get their common observatory up and running again, which can only be powered by the power stars scattered across certain galaxies. The story may be simple, but the ambition was placed into the entire presentation. This is by far one of the best looking games on the Wii. In fact, I tend to believe that this game was HD at points. Then again, the upscaling on the Wii U may be a big factor as well. Other than that, models are up to snuff, the colors are vibrant even in the darkest of levels, and the animations are so cartoony that gives the game way more charm than the previous two entries. But damn it, the visual presentation is small compared to the outright phenomenal music. They went out with a full-on orchestra with this game, and it works in Galaxy's favor. I guess an out-of-this-world soundtrack fits with this out-of-the-world setting. Even when the music is atmospheric, the music still makes me hum along. Some of my favorites tended to be Good Egg, Ghostly, and Gusty Garden galaxies. But overall, my favorite galaxies tended to be Beach Bowl, Ghostly, and Goldleaf. I would say Toy Time, one of the later levels, but I'll explain that later. Gameplay-wise, well, when I first played it, I absolutely hated it due to the awkward level design and motion controls. But now, I don't have a lot of problems with it. Yeah, the level design can be a pain at points, but that's a downside for having planet-like levels. And even then, the levels won't have large areas behave like this. There are disc-like planetoids, and they suck only because your movement feels awkward, especially when the camera jerks a bit to adjust your view. Luckily, a majority of galaxies have flatter planets, which is a lot more pleasing to the eyes. In terms of control, Mario feels slower than he did in Sunshine, but the movement is a lot smoother to make up for it. Much better if you ask me. And the return of the long jump helps as well. Oh, I miss you so much. So we don't have Flood, but we're giving an upgrade in comparison. A Luma, one of the little star childs that are in the care of Rosalina. The Luma, like I said, grabs over Flood in terms of mobility. Yeah, you can't really hover, but it lets you do a spin jump, which gives you a lot more height and verticality, which makes platforming really fun, especially more than Sunshine. Yeah, I know I'm being Sunshine up, but I have to reiterate that I did not have a fun time with Sunshine and its level design, and a lot of its control options didn't really sit well with me either. Galaxy, on the other hand, makes moving and attacking a lot more forgiving, and puzzle solving is a lot more fun when little water droplets don't spaz the environment out. That doesn't mean there aren't bad levels here. Oh no, Galaxy has its fair share. Trash demolition with this gear mode can suck it though. If you don't destroy everything in the amount of time, which is uncomfortably strict with the horrible delay of the bombs, you will have to do it over and over and over again. Screw this challenge. But honestly, the stuff I had a bad time with in my first playthrough were really not that bad nowadays. Most notably the ones with the most controls. Surfing isn't very fun, but it's not the worst thing to control. And the ball is surprisingly fun if you just stay calm and relax. But the big thing about this game is the return of the traditional power-ups. The Fire Flower and the Ice Flower, which was introduced in Mario & Luigi Partners in Time, return for this game, but in this case they're on a timer, which I kind of find dumb. Whatever happened to losing a power-up when you get hit? I doubt it'd break the game all that much, or as much as the 2D adventures anyway. And that goes for the Ice Flower more so. You just skate and wall kick on water instead of attacking, so it doesn't really make any sense. What's even more baffling are the other power-ups that don't run out when a timer hits 0. First off, we have the Bee Suit, which allows you to fly for a bit, as well as climb on sticky surfaces like honey or bee fuzz. But you do lose it if you hit water, and there's a lot when you have to deal with the damn thing. It gets obnoxious at times. The Boost Suit allows you to become an actual boo, which lets you float and go through specific walls. Would you lose that if you hit any sort of light, which makes sense and all, but holy shit, calm it down with the stage lights. And then we have the spring. I'm not even gonna call it a suit. It's not a suit, it's just a giant spring that surrounds Mario. But this is ultimately why I hate Toy Time Galaxy. The place allows you to move with this thing and it's so clunky, and jumping with it feels off. I'm jumping, damn it! Let me freaking jump! There is one more power-up to talk about, but there isn't really any reason to give it a lot of time. The red star is pretty much what the wing cap should have been. Unfortunately, you can only use it in one mission and use it in the Comet Observatory afterwards. That kinda sucks. Yeah, I can see why this would break the game a bit, but it would be so fun to go back to previous galaxies and break them in half. Oh well, I guess it's not a big deal, I suppose. In terms of the missions themselves, I talked about the most controlled missions, but more so, the stars are either bosses or get to the gold type stages, which is just how I like it. There are times when you need to find certain items like a gold shell or chain chomp, or the 5 silver stars that return from Super Mario 64 DS. But the best part is, none of these challenges are red coin or 100 coin stars. Hallelujah! You do have coins, but they are very useless outside of health, which is pretty small all things considered. And the only other collectible are Star Bits, which only gives you an extra life for every 50, and can be used as food for hungry Lumas, as well as ammunition. But outside of those challenges, we also have the Prankster Comet missions. When you finish certain star levels, a comet may appear. You may have to reach the end of a certain mission under a time limit, beat a boss with 1 piece of health, race this cosmic version of yourself, go through a field of cocaine-filled obstacles, or collecting 100 purple coins. And that last one doesn't really give you as much frustration as the 100 coins from the previous games, because there are a specific number given to the player, meaning no beating enemies or searching every cranny for a coin when you're left with only a few left. Like me at the challenges, they never really gave me much of a headache when it came to the likes of Lily Pad or it still hurts. Some challenges won't actually be available to you unless you fight the final boss, like the purple coins, which I guess is a good segue to the bosses themselves. With the exception of a couple of fights, more specifically the Bowser Jr. fights ironically, each of the bosses are energetic and they have varied movesets that make the fights fun, especially with the Bowser fights. Shockwaves, a homing stomp, fireballs. Bowser is more badass in this game than 64 and Sunshine combined in my opinion. And the game ends with a nice ending where everything gets sucked into a black hole and resets the entire universe. Sweet mother of hell, Rosalina. But wait, there's something I'm forgetting, aren't I? Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have a playable Luigi as a completion reward. He runs faster, jumps higher, does this weird kicking movement, whatever the hell this is, but slips on the ground when you try to stop. Yep, that's the Luigi I know and love. Kind of a shame this video has been taking so much of my time, otherwise I'd definitely get all the stars with Luigi. Man, what can I say, guys? I love Super Mario Galaxy. By far my favorite 3D Mario game in terms of sound, level design, bosses, visual presentation. It's all there. Control can be a bit stiff at points, but it didn't remove any of my overall enjoyment. Kinda strange how one of my least favorite games in the series quickly became one of my favorites. Certainly doesn't beat the likes of Super Mario World in my opinion, But Super Mario Galaxy is a keeper, and certainly a game you need to try out. And now, if you excuse me, it's time to go to a game that I've been waiting for so long. Ah, shit.